The eldritch god is a general term for corrupt and evil deities. Strange monstrous creatures float in space, and the eldritch possess incredible and unimaginable power because they partition the creator's strength. They are the apex predator race that distorts the path to upward progression and recklessly stroke the flames of war. A strange woman holds a large red orb, and the narrator says the eldritch is the world's most powerful terroristic horrors. A human will spiral into the psychotic endless abyss if they touch the eldritch. In the Shrine of Reality, Lindsay says he is the one who gazes into the endless abyss and reads a book on how to summon the eldritch. He is one of the otherworldly travelers who arrived several million years ago, and he journeyed the world to produce a lot of miracles. Lindsay throws the book as he walks around the Shrine of Reality and says he mastered the law of the world. He became omniscient, but his endless knowledge didn't permit him to know one thing. Lindsay stands at the gravestone of a man named Ashladus and wonders why he is the only one who has gained eternal life. There are several graves in the field, and the wind blows as he touches the gravestone. Lindsay talks about the creators and how they send transmigrators from the earth using their lingering willpower. The transmigrators are sent to correct the world's distortion from the eldritch. The transmigrators work with Lindsay and assure him they will defeat the eldritch and bring everyone back to their homes. 60 years pass and the lead transmigrator grows old. Lindsay sits beside him as he asks when they will thread the path that leads them back to their home. Time endlessly goes by, and Lindsay establishes the Shrine of Reality. The Shrine of Reality is built as a place where Lindsay buries the transmigrators of all generations who have died in the other world. Lindsay holds a key as he says enough is enough. He begins a summoning ritual with the key and calls on the Queen of the Infinite Void. He calls her by different names and titles, including Shifter of Stars, Creator of Suffering, and Enigma Guardian. A strange portal begins to open as Lindsay continues the summoning ritual, and he calls her the God of the Primordial Dusk and the Lord of Labyrinths. He summons her from the final summit and calls himself the Immortal Man of Eternity and Omniscient Gatekeeper. Lindsay unleashes the world's back door and asks the unspeakable Mother Goddess, who has bred countless sons, to descend into the world. Lindsay refers to the Eldritch God as the almighty Sinuhi Niklos, and a terrifying gate emerges. The gate is the Eldritch God, and it asks Lindsay what he wants. Lindsay says he has only one wish and pulls out an engagement ring. He goes on his knee and asks the Eldritch God to marry him. The Eldritch God is shocked as it becomes shy and asks him if he knows what he is saying. It threatens to punish him for mockery, but Lindsay says he is serious. The Eldritch God, who possesses a physical form, talks from behind the gate, and Lindsay says he is aware that it is a woman because she is the Mother Goddess. He says he read about her before transmigrating and says his most important reason for asking her to marry him is because she is an immortal being and the only one he can live with without eternal solitude. Sinuhi Niklos emerges from the gate and accepts Lindsay's proposal. She says he will love her forever, and Lindsay places the ring on her finger. She panics and turns around as she says she agreed to marry someone she met out of impulse and is clueless about what her next move will be. She decides to be straightforward and asks if he has any requests as her husband. Lindsay says he wants to have a child with her, and she is happy because her favorite activity is bearing children. Sinuhi Niklos says she can help Lindsay get children immediately if that is his plan for the marriage. Lindsay is surprised because they are about to make children, and Sinuhi asks what kind of child he hopes to conceive. She promises to be fast and gentle, and Lindsay realizes she wants him to carry the children. Sinuhi has the power to conceive all progeny, even if they are extinct, and she says she can give him all the kids he is after. She wraps him with her tentacles, and Lindsay says that's not the type of baby making he had in mind. Lindsay says it is about making non-stop burning love with his new darling until they can hail their descendants. Sinuhi is shocked by his request, and he asks her to imagine the inseparable intimacy between ruthless lovers. He then suggests they don't hold back and should go all the way. Meanwhile, in the Brood Palace, Lilith and Baru watch what is happening, and Lilith wonders if she is dreaming. She wonders why Sinuhi is interested in Lindsay and says she should be corrupting ignorant humans. Baru reminds Lilith that Sinuhi has her own motives for accepting to marry Lindsay. He says Lin Zi is very powerful and possesses a darker and deeper psychic than an eldritch god. Baru says Lin Zi might have what it takes to decide the ultimate victory for Senuhi amongst the eldritch. He says Senuhi desires to defeat the other eldritch and reclaim the creator's authority. She will conceive a son who will become the next creator, and Lilith says it's the reason they serve her. Baru mentions that her best bet to fulfill her grand cause will be procreating with a non-eldritch, and Lilith says she can't stand her master procreating with Lin Zi. She decides to verify if Lin Zi is worthy enough to pair with her master. Senuhi realizes she is to have intercourse with Lin Zi and says it is normal amongst married lovers. She says she only sees it in cartoons, but says the link between her and the brood is still active. She realizes that Lilith and the others might have heard her conversation with Lin Zi and tells Lin Zi they should hold back on the marriage talks. She goes to talk to her kinsfolk and Lin Zi says he'd like to accompany her. She refuses and asks him to give her a moment, but Lin Zi grabs her tentacle and kisses it. He says he will get lonely if she stays out for too long, and she enjoys what he does. She assures him she will be back soon and leaves through the portal. Lin Zi is relieved she has left and says his heart suffers more violent pain as he approaches the eldritch. Several chains surround his heart as if they are strangling it, and he says the pain cursed to his heart is actively warning him. It reminds him that transmigrators will never return to Earth if the eldritch is alive, and Lin Zi says he will do whatever it takes to send them back home. Senuhi Niklos arrives at the Eldritch Roundtable Conference after its millennia-long dormancy. Eldritch gods assemble as legislators and executives of the world order. Rugen, the Gold Emperor and Dragon of the God of Doom, ask why they were called together, and Clara, the God of Drowning Death and Almighty Ruler, says they should expect an after-party. Nea, the Lord of Monsters and Dark Weaver, reserves her comment, and Seimen says they should expect something interesting. He is the Black Sovereign and Arcane Lord. Euteus and Ivy are also present, and Senuhi eats at the table. Baru informs Senuhi that the Gold Emperor questioned her, but she continues enjoying her food. She informs him she heard what the Gold Emperor said and says the matter isn't serious. The Eldritch see the ring on her finger, and she informs them she married a human being not too long ago. Seimen smiles and says it is fascinating news, and Rugen asks if she wants them at the ceremony. They wonder what her intentions are for telling them because they are mutual enemies, and she says she is leaving the brood and entering the world to live with her husband. She says it might serve as an opportunity to put an end to the war between the Eldritch. Nea wonders if she really wants to end the war, and it has been going on for eons. In the Shrine of Reality, Lin Zi sits and lights a fire. A strange person appears before him and says it has been a while since they saw him. He asks Lin Zi to give him a face, but realizes he can't and says he is merely a vain illusion from Lin Zi's memories. He asks if he has been dead for long because Lin Zi cannot remember his face. Lin Zi says he has been dead for over 95 million years, and the person realizes his death day is vivid in Lin Zi's mind. A strange girl emerges and asks Lin Zi if he remembers her. He calls her Hestia and says she died 90 million years ago. Hestia is excited because Lin Zi remembers her and she sits beside him. Lin Zi says he is planning to leave the Shrine of Reality, and they ask if he got a woman. He informs them he is getting married to an Eldritch god and asks them to forgive him. Several souls emerge and stand beside their graves as Lin Zi says he doesn't have a way to bring them to his wedding before the extinction of the Eldritch. Meanwhile, Senuhi talks to the Eldritch and asks them to join her wedding. She then says they can use it to bring an end to the Eldritch War. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.